She said, yeah. And so I embarked on my first ever 21-day fast. Put the church on a 40-day fast. Had Easter service, you know, just letting you hear the sound of the abundance. I went home, asked her for the number. She said it was 88. And I told her, I don't want to be negative, but I have never been so disappointed with the church ever. Those were my words. I said, baby, 21 days of fasting, 40 days of church prayer and fasting, and they couldn't, in 6 weeks, bring one person a piece. So, you know, I don't know if it's me. And you know, Mississippi sounds awful good. Oh, I know they're not but a bunch of chicken farmers. But you know that $125,000, $150,000 a year from some awful nice chicken farmers.
That's right.
And you know, the devil wanted to play games with me. I was there, church. Hear me when I say this. All these other sounds started interfering with the frequency. You see, I didn't need to hear from God again. God already told me. Not only did He tell me, He showed me what He was going to do with me here. And so at some point over the next 7 to 8 hell raging weeks, I want to tell you, our finances were annihilated. I have carried impeccable credit for 42 years, only to have it annihilated because of transactions that just didn't go through. Not because of a lack of work, Brother Euboss. Because I tell you what, I'll go man to man, hand to hand, day for day, hour for hour with anybody. I ain't afraid of work.
Amen.
I had them. They were on the board. The preacher spoke, and I said, there's my 60,000 right there. I can see it. I was already counting it up. I just got another one that took it to 60 grand, and there they are. They're all going to close in the month of March. One closes, 3 fall out, 2 get pushed on. I'll tell you something. One doesn't even pay my marketing bills, let alone my house bills, our food bills, and all that other stuff. I go to preach in Mississippi, and perfect church. All my buddies are there. Man, what an opportunity. I think, man, God, what's going on? What's going on? And I come to realize, as I'm going through this, devil, you're a liar. I looked to my wife one day and I said, baby, I've never been here before. I've never been here before. It feels like every time. Some of you might have remembered the day that I walked in here on a Thursday night and I began to testify of God's goodness and how God was doing some great things, and how I'd gone to work that day and had the easiest sale in my life. I don't know if you ever remember that. The very next day, I had 2 escrows fall out. A day goes on, and I have 2 more escrows fall out. So the one that He gave me, 4 of them were lost. And I said, Luke, I don't know. I don't know. My wife went down before the Lord. She began to weep bitterly before Him. Why? Because she wanted to hear the voice of God. She came into the room, weepingly. She leaned over and began to pray for me. She said, "Baby, the Lord said, we're not losing our home. We're not losing our things. He said to tell you that I can raise up everything that's been torn down twice as fast as it went down." And though they were words of encouragement, I had yet to hear them in my spirit. I went to Mother Ruby's. Brother Jeremy was with me when we gave a Bible study. I began to talk in the Bible study, and I came to that point that I come to every time I talk about God. The moment of truth. Am I going to magnify Him for these people? Am I going to brag on my God? Am I going to just lift Him up, knowing full well every time I've done it in the last 5 or 6 weeks, the devil has showed up at my door the next day. Not a week later, not a month later, the next day. Now I tell somebody, you know, I ain't afraid of no devil. But I get tired of going out there and trying to kill that gopher that's tearing up my grass.
Right.
I get tired of that. I just get tired of having to see the bald spots in your grass because of the gopher. I get tired of answering the door and saying, "Pookie, I'll be back. I gotta take care of something." Walk out there and fight with the devil all day. Come home and then have to deal with life. I'm married. I've got kids. Oh, did I mention I got a church? I've got people. The church has got bills. And people aren't paying their tithes. They're not giving in the offerings. And the rents are due. And the marketing pieces are due. And I can just keep going on. But God spoke. And He said, "I spoke a word to you 5 years ago, preacher. My word to you was simply, fear not, neither be dismayed, for I go before you. Preach my word, sound my trumpet in Zion, for I will prepare them for you." But when He spoke that word, I want to tell somebody, it was just a few weeks ago when I preached, it's time to turn around. The Lord brought me back to August 2nd in a Palmville church 9 years ago. And He said, "I want to remind you of a prophetic word that I gave you. And I want you to stand to your feet, preacher, and take a look around.